Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Gaming and Esports Sundays with Srini. As promised, I have a very special episode today, and special for two reasons now. Why? Let me tell you this. So, I'm here at TEC Arena, Bangalore. For the last couple of days, I've been watching some amazing matches, some crazy overtime, some crazy rounds. Teams have been really performing well. And today's episode is special because I have a special guest on. I recorded a conversation with none other than Manoj Kashyap, founder and team owner of Velocity Gaming, VLT, or as popularly known as Anna. So this episode is special for one, of course, because of the fact that it was a great conversation with him about the team and about the making of the team, the interesting aspects of how gaming and esports should be encouraged within the ecosystem and what his viewpoints are about how to make all of this happen because he's been a team owner for the longest time. And the second reason is, of course, because VLT has qualified to the grand finals of TEC LAN. So that's a very appropriate time for me to even release this episode. I'm going to stop talking and I hope you guys enjoy my conversation, albeit it's an audio podcast. Put your headphones on and listen to Anna speak about Velocity Gaming. Thank you. All right. Great. Thank you so much for your time, Anna.
Thank you, no problem.
Great. And congratulations on your
Thank
win
you.
yesterday. I've been following VLT for the longest time. First time I, of course, saw you guys play was when, where cities were playing in their own
Yeah,
leagues.
leagues, Sky Leagues.
The Sky Leagues, yeah. So that, and I got really excited. And so yeah, I think it's great to know that how we've grown and the journey is great. So, like I said, I'm going to talk more from a branding standpoint and brand marketing standpoint. So, why don't you tell me a little bit about how VLT happened, or what was your insight behind creating a team? I did over here the other part. So, like a follow up to that would be why creating a team and what end goal did you have in mind to create a team, so to speak?
The team creation happened back in 2006 itself. But because that is when I realized that did play against some good teams back then, where they had an entourage of 10, 15 people, like how you see right now. 5 players, we have 15 people around the players, helping them with setup, helping them with their let it be from laundry all the way to the food. Everything is taken care by us. So this is something that I've seen back in 2006 with other teams internationally. So that's when I decided, if at all we have the resources to do something of this sort, why don't we do it in India? Because I never felt India didn't have the talent. India has the talent, it's tapped away. It's tapped away by people who are studying for IITs, IIMs, things like that. So unless you get that exposure out, that this is also a viable field, you would never find them. So that's the main motive back then. I took enough time to understand this business, looking at different teams, how they run and all. So it's not very profitable as of now, but you do have resources to get some VC investments and all. But ultimately, you are a sports-based team, so it derives from results. Everything revolves around that.
Correct.
So we, when started Velocity Gaming, completely focused only on results. We didn't look for branding, we didn't look for streaming, we didn't do anything. So I said, I'm going to fund you guys for everything. All you guys have to do is just play and win. If you look at our stats on VLR page, which tracks all the APAC teams, we are third in terms of amount of prize pool that is won by any team in an SCA region. So in the entire APAC region, we are standing third. So that shows the power of South Asian tournament organizing facility and Velocity's power of being there. So there are only three teams that are over $100,000, and Velocity is one of them. And there are only two other teams, which are PRX and Zerzia.
I read about it.
Yeah, so that shows the power of it, and how much money is there And this is a team that has not played a single major event. We have not played anything, but we still are there in the likes of that. So it shows the power of VLT's performance and the tournament organizer performance, both aspects. So that was the initial goal, just to play and win, do nothing else. Be there in the books, and we said results and all the other things will follow it. So it takes time, but we are on the process, is what I feel.
Understood. In fact, as a follow up, I would say that may not necessarily be your end goal.
No.
That's just like a byproduct
Yeah.
of things that are happening. End goal is, of course, from an aspirational standpoint, to be representing India.
India, yeah,
and,
that is
that
that's the goal.
Okay.
Representing India on the world stage.
Super. But to make that happen, we still need to have a certain setup in place for a team to kind of thrive and grow. Like, is there a strategic approach towards building revenue and figuring out ways and means to at least keep, meaning like you don't have to pay out of your own pocket,
Yeah.
so to speak. So how do you, like, what approach do you take?
So this is basically, we are talking about a game which is built by Riot. Riot has a history of supporting team owners and teams from their own pocket as well. But you have to get to that level. So if you see LOL, they have the league system where people buy the slot, and there are in-game stuff which people can buy. Like, let's say a fan of VLT, and let's say there's a VLT skin inside the game, you can buy that, and the proceeds of that can be given to us. Riot has done something of that sort recently with the last year champions, where they released a champions bundle, and 30% or 40% of that proceed was given to the prize pool, that winning team. So this is something that is already in place by Riot. It is just not implemented yet. So we have to work towards that. So that would be your first stream of revenue. The second thing is, Riot is giving us early access to, let it be maps, let it be agents, things that are related to the game. We are getting early access. So you make content around that. So we have the biggest content creation team right now. Entire PC Esports is with Velocity Gaming. The best content creators are with us. So everyone gets access. Then all of us play together and create that, just like how 100 Thieves does and all the other teams across the world does. So with that, you make revenue. You probably will tie up with some brand during that content, and you put that as an advertisement and do it. Third would be your merchandise sales. So we just got into that, and that is something that we are exploring, and to do it in a way where logistics are not affected, the quality is still there, and things like that. So these are the three main revenue sources for any esports team, apart from your prize pool, your brand partnerships, and all that. That would come, but I think this is the way to go forward, where there is a steady revenue on a monthly basis.
That's good. In fact, on the same thing, when you're talking about content creation means views. Content creation means tapping audiences.
Yes.
That is that also the reason why brands integrate or would approach you and say, hey, let's do something, because you have a good size of an audience, or you built your own, your content creators have built their own channels on YouTube, Instagram, wherever have you. Is that, you think that is something?
See, my degree in masters was in strategic management. Part of it is marketing, basically. So if you look at from a purely marketing perspective, why would a company, like, I'll take my own company, My Granites. Why would I partner with somebody to portray my product or advertise my product? A, it is targeting the right audience. B, that magazine or that base which I'm going to target has the biggest pool of people that I'm looking at. So unless it comes down to the same with brands. Like, let's say endemic brands or non-endemic brands that are there right now. Right now in esports, you see all the electronic and computer accessory companies only inside. You don't have the likes of Reliance, Tata's, Birla's, ITC, all these biggest companies which have tons of marketing budget. They are not there, because when ITC or Tata can advertise a team from IPL, which has the biggest views, why would they come to Velocity Gaming? It's not about, you don't have to spend $1 million, you just give us 10 lakhs, we will do it. They don't want to do it, they want to spend that million. So if you come up to that level where you can demand $1 million, then they would be ready to do it. So that's where we need to approach in a way where we build up that audience, give them those numbers, saying that this is how much viewership or fan base that we have, or this event that we are doing can bring in so much of viewership, and then we need your support in that aspect. So you should approach it from the other way around, is what I feel.
Right. Understood. Meaning you would probably compete with the likes of IPL for concurrent viewership.
Yeah, that's it. So why should we see? We are the biggest audience base in the world.
Right.
We are the second largest population in the world. When China is able to have their own PUBG championship, why should we compete with other countries? We are second, so we should have our own championship. We should have our own league. Like IPL is second to World Cup. IPL, I would not say second to World Cup. It is the World Cup. It beats the entire records of all the World Cup can get you in the 2 month span.
Branding, marketing wise, for sure.
Then completely it blows off all the other records. I mean, it is in the likes of leagues of NBA, football, BPL, and things like that. So I think esport also should come up to that level, which is already there in other countries. It's nothing new. It's there, where you have non-endemic brands already partnered with biggest teams in the world. But I think we should come up to there, use our leverage of population, get up there, and then demand that money.
Actually, funny you should mention that. I had a question around that. How far are we to see larger audiences and eyeballs, both online? Online, of course, we have, but offline as well. For example, with the likes of something like a PGL major, or even with what we had in DreamHack, right?
Yeah.
That was also a sizable audience because it was pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
But again, if we were to think of from a perspective for anyone to even think, brands and marketing people to even think of esports as a full-fledged industry, how do you think how long will it take to get there?
We are quite far off, to be very honest, because even if you look at mobile esport, we might probably get about 10 lakh maximum, all combined. That should come up to 1 million. So we're 10 times behind is what I feel.
Okay.
And it's not that we don't have the numbers, we do have it. It is just that we need to not just target the Indian audience, we should target a little bit of international audience as well. A PGL major is happening, a person like me is watching.
Yes.
Why would I see it? It's not happening, neither my team is playing, nor my country is playing. It is just that I like Counter-Strike, I like the game, and one of the best teams that I support is playing. So you should build a team in such a way that there is a liking to international audience. PRX, after 2 years of owning a team, I've never bought a jersey of any competitive team. PRX is the only jersey I got because they came fourth in that. So it's like I'm a fan of PRX, the way they play and all that. So it's like that.
Yeah. In fact, on that note, since you guys also played APAC, or rather in the challenges, recognition for an Indian team outside of India or outside of South Asia also, even for that matter, going to perform in that region. Do you think that kind of brings excitement, or that is an appealing thing for for the, like, I'm purely thinking from a brand standpoint, because simply put, like I saw, like AMD is on your jerseys, right? And if you're going to an APAC region, there will be APAC audience, or there will be larger audiences, and that brand is also getting that visibility, so to speak. So is that a good thing in a sense? I mean, of course it's a good thing, but how do you think brands view it?
So that is the guarantee you should give a brand, is what I feel. So rather than you going them and hypothetically telling that we will win it, you have to show that you're going to win it, and you have to place your asset in such a way that it demands this kind of value monetarily to be visible over there. So it took us 2 years to build that. Now it's almost like we set a target saying this is a place which we can give you on our jersey, and this is how much it's going to cost, because this is the performance that I can guarantee you, and I deliver it. It's not that we have not delivered. So there's a minimum thing and there's a maximum thing. Minimum is 100% we achieve. So that's what I make sure.
So there are metrics which you.
Yeah. So it's again comes under marketing budget, when you can put a paper ad and target an X amount of audience. Why you want to give it to VLT?
Yeah. So I get it. See, actually, what I've noticed being in marketing and handling clients and all clients is they want to be part of next big thing.
Yeah.
That's why they'll do it. They may not necessarily spend their budgets because I want a larger audience, but I want to tap into an untapped audience who's the next big thing. And like everybody is excited about esports for that reason. Everybody is excited about, let's say, Web3 for that reason. So that's one insight that.
Well, little government recognition is what I feel. That is a major hindrance for us, where non-endemic bands are not, or even endemic bands, most of them are not inside esports, because this, even if you want to go and open a bank account, There is a category in current accounts that you have to register at. What is your business into? There is no sports as there is no e-sport as such. So
Why do you think that is?
there is no government. People don't understand what this is. So when I've opened, we were the first team to open a Valorant bootcamp in Hyderabad. I had likes of a personal secretary of our IT minister come to the event, and he is a IFS officer as well. He did ABBS, then he did civils, and then he's an IFS officer. He's quite intellectual. And he's shocked to understand that five people do this for a living. Just sit in front of a computer and play a game. So you need to understand that person of that intellectual status doesn't understand what e-sport is. So it's all about education. It's all about exposure. Some guys, again, as I gave you an example, badminton, tennis, cricket is okay, main field. We understand that. What about other sports, where other countries are far ahead of us? Reason why we are not there is just exposure again for them. Athlete not being able to play against the best athletes over there, not having the facility over there. China gets in the highest number of golds, bronze and silver medals over there, where we are fighting with some country which we don't even see as a power to us, with having so much of population and all. So it's the same thing that's happening in esports, is what I feel.
Makes sense. Actually, on that note, I just have a couple of
Yeah.
questions. On that note, want to understand, is this lack of encouragement from even parents?
Yeah, 100%.
That's one. And then you have had a
Yeah.
recent case, right?
Yeah.
So, what would be your message to parents if they want to do something like this? Even if it is not a full-time thing, but at least there'll be more, visibility.
Yeah, the first generation father, I would, because my son is interested in playing few games, I ask him to play, but set yourself some time. It is just like me. Say I have a business to run, but I also have to run esports team and make it the best. So it's all about time management, having the you need to have the decision making, when to study, when to play. So a little bit of help from the parents obviously is plan them out, give them a timetable saying that this is the time you can go and play, this is the time you have to study, or maybe give this kind of marks for me in exams, and then I let you play. Things of that sort. Some kind of a middle ground needs to be reached where he is doing what he wants and your parents are also getting what they want.
So do you like? I know for a fact that players also earn salaries and stuff. Do you think that is good enough for them to convince their parents that hey, listen, I'm getting paid out of this because I'm that good and I've worked towards it, or is it just a fact that it's a taboo of sorts for them?
It's taboo, and also salary cannot be taken as a full-time thing. You're not a government employee here. Your job can go any day. So there is no backup for you. The stability, financial stability. So if you look at other countries where people have completely taken it as a career, they do stream, they earn revenue out of that, Twitch. They have brand deals and they're dedicated towards that. And they play esport and they're successful. And they still have to do their own laundry, they have to clean their own dishes, they still have to clean their own house. Here we have all the facilities of, we can always go back to our parents and say that, I lost this job, please help me out here. Once you remove that thing from the equation, and which is why I feel, Indian players are very stagnated in terms of thinking, because they always have a backup of going back and saying, this is not as worked out for me. Even if I put a pressure of at least 1 hour more than what they're doing, there's always a fear for me that they will back out, or they'll go to a different team which is not as stressful as what I am doing. But for me, it's always that, unless you do this, you will not achieve that. There is a set road to success. People know it, players also know it. But why should we do the hard way when there is some easier route ahead of us?
One last question. What type of, this is mainly from a perspective of exciting brands to come into esports which are outside of the current categories of electronics and or for that matter energy drinks. What kind of brand integrations you think are best suited for collaborations with team owners, and what's your message to brand owners to come and be part of this industry, irrespective of the fact like numbers wise there is a different story, but still what do you think would be best suited for them?
No, we target an age group purely from, let's say, almost from 13 years till 30 years. This is the age group we target. And in this age group, you're purely looking at fashion. Fashion brands is what you're looking at. Lifestyle brands is what you're looking at. Then you have technology, which is already there right now. You can even look at transport. Let's say Indigo sponsors. We had a beautiful message from Indigo air team when we were there flying to VCC. So that means we did tap into some other audience over there. So airline industry is there, travel industry, which you see Emirates sponsoring all the Premier League teams. So our local airline carrier can do the best in here. So the money is not the problem here. That's always been. I know that these brands and the money that we are asking, or they would invest here for the fan base we are having. Money is not the issue. We are just not there yet in terms of numbers. Rather than asking the same, come back to the same example where we are saying you don't have to give me a million, give me 10 lakhs. I'll do this. They would say no, I don't want to do that. I want to do the million and target that kind of an audience. So all these brands are in the age group, and we have the biggest population in that age group, which even our prime minister told that we have the best, middle age population that is there, which is earning right now for the country, where other countries, European countries, don't have. They have more of older generation population over there. So let's see how it goes. I don't know, but we're trying.